You will not believe what's been quietly brewing behind the polished gates of Montecito, California, where Meghan Markle is said to be spinning out of control. And this time, it's not about a Netflix deal, a podcast, or another carefully staged photo op. No, this is far more personal, far more explosive, and it has sent tremors through the royal corridors of power in London. Sources whisper, and yes, they are insistent, that Meghan allegedly attempted to enroll Archie and Lilibet in what insiders are calling a secret private monarchy school, a place designed supposedly to groom heirs outside the reach of Buckingham Palace oversight, outside the rules that bind every other royal child. This is not just news, this is a scandal wrapped in secrecy, rumor, and the kind of audacity that makes even seasoned palace watchers drop their morning tea in shock.
Princess Lilibet Diana had been christened. Why would they use a title for their children that represents an institution they loathe so much? Well, Harry and Meghan have never provided any evidence for that highly incendiary claim. It's not like they haven't had the chance to. After all, they pumped out 6 hours of self-indulgent bilge on Netflix, trashing Britain and the press for its racism. She was never pregnant at all. Instead, the videos embolden conspiracy theorists. They're calling it Megspiracy, and the pair are being subjected to yet more merciless ridicule. Meghan's Netflix series, released to the world this morning, is packed with, well, not really revelations, are they? It's sort of rehashed old revelations with a new twist. As it turns out, we've apparently been wrong all along. Britain is a nasty, racist hellhole where only magnificent Meghan stood up to all this, and the world's biggest victims.
Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
Do you think if Kate and William did this, do you think
they'd ever release it?
If they did,
do you think Kate would release a twerking video,
people use headlines
heavily
like that?
pregnant at the bedside?
Would people say things like that?
The thing is, these two will sell anything about their privacy.
A lot of the royal watchers were complaining that they felt like her posts on social media where she barely shows the kids is almost taunting the king, who doesn't know these children, and how unfair this is.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
For Harry and Meghan, it's more a case of never reign and never abstain, especially when it comes to nauseating self-publicity, which invariably backfires.
Harry and Meghan playing games that resulted in people unnecessarily questioning things. Again, every toxicity thing is result of them.
Prince William doubles down. According to multiple sources, it's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
They're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily, or delivering Lily. That sentence there is missing.
And now they want to give their kids the titles of prince and princess, even though they don't live anywhere near the royal family. They don't do any duties. They do nothing to deserve it. They live in a mansion in Montecito in California and use their own royal titles to make loads of money.
The story unfolds like a twisted royal thriller. Piers Morgan, never one to mince words, has taken this revelation and run with it, his voice cutting through the fog of polite denials and carefully curated Instagram posts. This is exactly the kind of overreach that threatens the very fabric of the monarchy, he declares. His tone sharp, electric, almost frantic, the kind that makes you lean in even as your jaw drops. And yes, there are palace insiders corroborating snippets, details about whispered conversations, phone calls ignored, an application submitted for a school whose very existence has never been acknowledged publicly.
Things were dealt with a bit more, you could call it aggressively, when it came to errant members of a royal family. You sent them off to war and hoped that war took care of the rest, sort of thing. And so I think in this sort of modern era, you do actually need some way to, discipline may sound like a harsh word, but to share with them, hey, you're part of this. You have to be a situation like Harry, because Harry and Meghan left in part because they thought they could just do whatever the heck they wanted. Nobody was going to tell them no.
Archie and Lilibet, the youngest Sussex heirs, are suddenly at the center of a storm that dwarfs anything the public has seen from Harry and Meghan before. It isn't just about titles or Instagram visibility anymore. It's about control, influence, and allegedly carving out a miniature monarchy in California, a private enclave where rules are bent, traditions can be ignored, ignored, and the crown's authority is quietly circumvented. Some call it ambition. Others whisper words like recklessness, hubris, even constitutional sabotage. The implications are enormous. A move like this could, in theory, sever the carefully maintained legal and ceremonial ties these children have to the United Kingdom, creating a parallel universe where the Sussex kids operate on a different set of rules.
They kept telling the world how ghastly the monarchy is. It's a prison camp. All the royals want to get away from it, but they can't because they're trapped in the world of titles and privilege. And now they want to give their kids the titles of prince and princess, even though they don't live anywhere near the royal family. They don't do any duties. They do nothing to deserve it. They live in a mansion in Montecito in California.
And the documents reportedly discovered by palace advisors add fuel to the fire, unusual applications, letters lacking proper signatures, and references to curricula that would prepare Archie and Lilibet for roles that officially do not exist. Some have described these papers as a blueprint for autonomy, a roadmap to raising royal children who answer first to their parents' ambitions rather than the centuries-old institution they were born into. Piers Morgan emphasizes the audacity here, the audacity of treating a constitutional monarchy like a boutique brand to be curated, managed, and monetized from thousands of miles away.
It's a case about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince.
There is tension in every corner of this tale. Sources claim Meghan personally oversaw communications with the mysterious school, vetting staff, reviewing programs, and even pushing for private curriculum adjustments that mirror royal protocol, but without the oversight of palace authorities. This isn't mere parenting, this is alleged strategic positioning, a calculated attempt to create a parallel royal sphere in California. And the emotional stakes are skyrocketing. Friends and aides describe Meghan as oscillating between excitement and panic, a whirlwind of ambition and fear that insiders say is fueling her current meltdown mode in Montecito. Royal observers are reportedly stunned. The whispers that once circulated quietly through the halls of Buckingham Palace have erupted into a frenzy, as senior sources claim that William and the palace are now actively reviewing every detail connected to these alleged plans. It is not just about titles anymore, it's about precedent, governance, and the audacious idea that royal children can be positioned outside established channels, trained in a private, secretive environment designed to give them advantages that contradict centuries of protocol. Every legal expert and palace historian consulted by insiders reportedly agrees if these claims are true, it could set off constitutional debates never before imagined in modern British history. And the reactions? Explosive. Piers Morgan is vocal, insistent, almost theatrical in his outrage. This isn't some harmless boutique school for privileged children, he says. This is a full-blown attempt to circumvent the system, to create royals on her terms, and it is utterly unprecedented. Gossip circles in Montecito are buzzing. Social media posts are swirling with speculation, and the palace itself is reportedly weighing three possible responses: quiet monitoring, a formal inquiry, or an unprecedented direct intervention. Meanwhile, Meghan's legal advisors, according to insiders, are said to be preparing contingencies, positioning the story as a protective measure for the children, but even they admit privately that the optics of such a secretive, high-profile educational maneuver are disastrous. And with each passing hour, the drama intensifies, from whispered phone calls to clandestine meetings, from unsigned forms to reports of hurried consultations with educators claiming ties to royal protocol. The stakes could not be higher. Two children, their royal titles, and a family brand stretched across continents, now potentially at odds with the very institution that once defined their identity. Everyone watching knows that if this story breaks officially, it will not be framed as simple parental ambition. It will be cast as a direct challenge to the crown, an audacious, almost cinematic attempt to redefine what it means to be royal in the 21st century. Oh, and just when you think the tension could not escalate further, whispers have emerged that Meghan allegedly sought to hand-select not only the teachers, but also the staff who would oversee Archie and Lilibet, carefully vetting them for loyalty, discretion, and alignment with her vision of a modern monarchy. Sources claim that private messages and emails between Meghan and her team revealed instructions for creating an educational bubble, a word world where the children could be insulated from outside scrutiny, where every lesson and every interaction reinforced a carefully crafted narrative of privilege and autonomy, all while maintaining the veneer of royal protocol. Piers Morgan has been relentless in describing this alleged behavior, insisting that it signals a dangerous precedent, one where parental ambition risks overtaking centuries of established tradition, turning the royal lineage into a bespoke enterprise curated from the sunny lawns of California, rather than the stone halls of London. The audacity is breathtaking, even to those who have followed the Sussexes' every move since their departure from royal duties, and insiders admit privately that the palace is not just concerned, they are reportedly alarmed, calculating and preparing contingencies for every possible fallout, from media frenzy to legal maneuvers. According to sources who have reportedly spoken to palace advisors, the concept of a secret private monarchy school was not merely hypothetical. Investigators claim there were discussions about registering Archie and Lilibet in institutions with curricula designed to mirror the education of royal heirs in Britain, but with added layers of autonomy and a distance from oversight that the palace traditionally mandates. Some insiders describe documents suggesting Meghan wanted the children to learn the ceremonial aspects of royal life, the protocols, the etiquette, and the lineage knowledge, but entirely in a controlled environment of her own making. Every detail, from uniforms to lesson plans, allegedly considered how to maintain the mystique of monarchy without ceding a single inch of control to traditional channels. And while these claims have not been substantiated publicly, the sheer audacity, the whisper of truth behind these rumors, has sent shockwaves through royal circles and created what some are calling an unprecedented internal review of Archie and Lilibet's royal standing, right from the ground up. Piers Morgan, never one to temper his outrage, emphasizes that this is not about petty parental pride or innocent ambitions. According to his reporting and commentary, the implications are monumental. If these claims hold any water, it could reshape the perception of the monarchy itself, allowing a narrative where royal identity becomes a product to be cultivated, marketed, and insulated from accountability, all while exploiting centuries-old traditions for personal prestige. The reaction inside Montecito, according to insiders, is a cocktail of excitement, fear, and a sense of invincibility, a feeling that distance from the palace allows one to act unilaterally, without immediate consequences, a notion that has reportedly unnerved senior advisors who have historically maintained careful stewardship over the education and upbringing of royal heirs. And the drama does not end there. Allegedly, Meghan's legal team has been laying the groundwork for a defense against any interference by palace authorities, framing the schooling initiative as entirely in the children's best interests, a protective measure for their well-being, yet the timing and secrecy have only fueled speculation that ambition, image, and brand control may have been as important, if not more so, than the children's education itself. Reports suggest that senior palace officials are quietly assessing every action, every email, every recorded conversation that might shed light on whether this initiative crossed the line between parental discretion and constitutional impropriety. It is said that the discussions have reached King William himself, and according to sources, he is considering decisive steps that could range from quietly halting the plans to formally reviewing Archie and Lilibet's standing and their entitlements to royal titles should these reports prove accurate. Meanwhile, social media and gossip circles are ablaze. Analysts, journalists, and royal commentators are dissecting every snippet of information, connecting dots that may or may not exist, and amplifying rumors into a near-tangible narrative of crisis. The story reportedly portrays Meghan as determined, relentless, and, some claim, detached from reality, convinced that her children's royal futures can be molded entirely from afar in a private sphere of her own design. Those who have followed the Sussexes closely note that this pattern fits a long-standing theme: the desire to maintain and extend royal influence while minimizing accountability, a strategy that has repeatedly drawn criticism from both the palace and public observers. Piers Morgan has pointed out repeatedly that the consequences of such moves are not merely personal but constitutional, touching on the very foundations of succession, legitimacy, and royal protocol, and that failure to address them could ripple through generations. As the drama unfolds, it becomes clear that this story is not about trivial disagreements or social media spats. This is about lineage, inheritance, authority, and the audacious, allegedly unprecedented steps taken to engineer a private royal world thousands of miles from London. Every conversation, every document, every insider report adds layers to the intrigue, building a portrait of a royal family under pressure from within, challenged not by outside forces, but by the very ambitions of its most famous ex-members and by the extraordinary claim that Meghan sought to craft a private monarchy school for her children, a move that has sparked outrage, disbelief, and a tidal wave of gossip that will not subside until the palace acts, and acts decisively. The world is watching, whispers are multiplying, and the suspense is almost unbearable. Will the palace intervene quietly, preserving dignity behind closed doors, or will they confront what some call a blatant attempt to rewrite royal history, a private academy where Archie and Lilibet could grow up insulated, entitled, and untethered from centuries of tradition? The answers remain elusive, but one thing is certain. If these claims are true, Meghan Markle's ambition has reached a level that is reshaping not only her children's upbringing, but the very perception of what it means to be royal in the 21st century. And the fallout, when it hits, promises to be explosive, unprecedented, and unforgettable.